You are watching part 1 of Harry Potter. Part 1, The Boy Who Lived. Harry was a happy baby living with his parents in a small village, until one night when a dark wizard named Voldemort attacked their house. But before Voldemort could kill him, Harry's mother cast a spell protecting her son, sacrificing her own life. The Dursleys hid these letters from him, so Harry never knew about the school or the fact he was a wizard. That is, until his 11th birthday. When the Dursleys went out for the day, leaving Harry home alone, a large, hairy man in a purple robe appeared in their home. He kept thinking about what Hagrid had told him and wondered if he really was a wizard. At first he felt a bit left out because the Weasleys were all wizards, while Harry was still unsure about his abilities. But when Draco Malfoy, a cold and arrogant boy, made fun of his old clothes, Harry was suddenly struck by a bolt of lightning. Then a very nervous-looking student named Neville Longbottom approached their table. He followed the sound and came across a three-headed dog. Harry was startled, but Snape simply waved his wand, and the potion ingredients flew into a cauldron, transforming into a beverage. Snape then ordered Harry to drink it. At first, it tasted awful, but then it started to clear Harry's mind, and that no one was allowed in or out until the culprit was found. Later, in defense against the Dark Arts class, Professor Quirrell was teaching them about a powerful stone called the Philosopher's Stone. This stone had the power to make its owner immortal. Suddenly, Quirrell grew pale and backed away from Harry, frightened. Harry noticed this, and later confronted Quirrell, asking him what was wrong. But before Quirrell could answer, the bell rang and class was over. He was presented with a very special award, and all the students cheered for him. As the year drew to a close, Harry, Ron, and Hermione promised to return the following year, but little did they know what was in store for them. He suddenly remembered all those memories that belonged to Voldemort, all those thoughts of fear and sadness. They were gone, all thanks to this potion. They worked together on homework assignments, fought trolls, and narrowly escaped certain death when they stumbled upon a deadly trap set by Voldemort in the second-floor bathroom. Each time Harry came close to discovering the secret behind his scar, Professor Quirrell stopped him. This made Harry a Horcrux, a powerful magical object that contained part of Voldemort's soul. Dumbledore explained that in order to defeat Voldemort he needed to destroy the piece of soul inside of him. But first, they needed to find the Philosopher's Stone, the thing that Voldemort was after. Harry began to suspect that Quirrell knew more than he was letting on. Just then, Fluffy, the dog's name, woke up and began snarling at Harry. Harry and Ron searched everywhere for her, but it wasn't until they entered the third-floor corridor that they found her trapped in a magical ice block. When Harry tried to free her, he was zapped by magic and knocked unconscious. He woke up in the infirmary, confused and scared. But then Dumbledore entered the room, revealing that he knew the whole truth about Harry's scar. But soon they were interrupted by an urgent message from Hagrid. Apparently, Fluffy had been found dead, and worse, someone had broken into the third-floor corridor, an area that was heavily protected by magic. Finally, they reached a large gate guarded by 2 stone gargoyles. Just then, they heard a familiar laugh. It was Voldemort, but before he could attack, Harry stopped him. With a powerful spell, the two struggled against each other until Harry's scar began hurting intensely. Then suddenly, Voldemort was gone, and Harry had defeated him. The only way someone could have gotten past the spells was by using a certain type of magic that could only be used by one person, the Dark Wizard. Harry backed away slowly, but the dog wouldn't let him leave. Harry realized there must be something important behind the dog and decided to sneak around and find another way in. Eventually, he discovered a trapdoor leading to a dark staircase. Harry continued going down until he reached a large oak door. On it was a sign that read, "Keep out." Of course, Harry didn't listen and opened the door. He was known for getting into trouble because he was clumsy. Neville told them he lost something very important, his grandmother's ring, and he asked if they could help find it. Ron, Hermione, and Harry agreed. They crept out of bed and made their way down a long hallway. The 3 of them split up to search different areas. In front of everyone, his wand flew out of his pocket and shot a spell at Malfoy, making his blonde hair stand straight up. Ron and his sisters were impressed, but Hermione Granger, another student on the train, scolded Harry for using magic, explaining that they weren't supposed to be using spells outside of school. She also admitted she had used magic herself earlier, taking points off Slytherin House for cheating at a game, when she accidentally used a full-body binding spell on one of Ron's brothers. Harry defended her, causing his wand to shoot out again, this time knocking a hat off a nearby pegboard. Realizing they had better get a grip on their magic, the 3 quickly agreed to stop using spells on the train. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. Alarmed, Harry looked out the window when they arrived at the station. They were greeted by a huge sight, Hogwarts Castle. As they walked through the doors, they entered the Great Hall. The sorting hat ceremony began with the ghost of a very chubby little girl floating above their heads. Then a tall, black-robed professor started calling each student's name. When it was Ron's turn, he joined the other group. Soon it was Hermione's turn and she was sorted into Gryffindor as well. Finally, it was Harry's turn. Everyone was watching. The hat was placed on his head. All Harry could think about was the scar on his forehead, how it hurt sometimes, and why it looked exactly like a lightning bolt. As the hat tried to figure out which house Harry should join, Voldemort's memories began flooding into his mind. Memories of his parents' death and Voldemort's attempt to kill him. Because of this, Harry shouted, "Not Slytherin." The hat then shouted back, "Gryffindor." And the entire hall cheered as Harry joined Ron and Hermione, and saw a giant, a lady with green hair, and a man carrying a big suitcase. Startled, Harry opened the door and they introduced themselves as the Weasleys, the family of Ron Weasley. They explained they had come to take Harry with them to the train station, so he could finally go to His name was Hagrid, the keeper of keys and grounds at Hogwarts. He explained to Harry everything about the wizarding world, how his parents died heroically, and that he had been accepted into Hogwarts. This made Harry famous in the wizarding world, the boy who lived, the one who survived an attack from the most evil wizard of all time. But this fame also made him very alone. His father was killed during the attack, and because wizards feared Voldemort would come back for Harry, they left the boy with his only living relatives. The Dursleys, a horrible family who hated magic and wanted to keep Harry away from the wizarding world, so they raised him as an unwanted and mistreated child. Every year on July, Harry received a letter from Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Hagrid took Harry shopping to get ready for school. They went to a store filled with all sorts of magical items where Harry got his first wand. It was special, just like him. You see, Harry's scar looked exactly like a lightning bolt, and when he touched the wand, it reacted with a burst of sparks. Hagrid told Harry this meant he had found his wand. That night, Harry couldn't sleep. The next morning, after saying a very teary goodbye to Hedwig, his new owl, Harry boarded the train with the Weasleys. As the journey continued, more students came on board, including Seamus Finnegan, Dean Thomas, Lavender Brown and Parvati Patel. Later that evening, they were all sitting together at the Gryffindor table, enjoying a feast. As Harry was walking, he heard someone talking in an old, raspy voice. Inside was a large room filled with many different potions, and at the end of it sat Professor Severus Snape, the potions master. When Harry returned to the common room, he told Ron and Hermione about the potion and his strange dream. The next day at breakfast, Dumbledore, the headmaster, announced that the school was under attack by dark forces. As the days passed, Harry, Ron, and Hermione became closer friends. Then one day, Hermione disappeared. You see, Harry's scar was a fragment of Voldemort's soul that stuck to Harry during the attack. So Harry, Ron, and Hermione set out on a dangerous quest through a series of mazes and traps, all while avoiding the one person who was trying to steal the stone, Professor Quirrell. Later, at the end of the year feast, Dumbledore announced that Harry had won the school 100 points. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out the rest of the series. Until next time, goodbye.